In a quiet town, behind the glass doors of a small accounting office, there lives a man whose mind is sharper than any blade, and whose past darker than any night. His name? Christian Wolff. To most, he's just an ordinary accountant, calm, polite, a man who loves numbers more than people. But behind that quiet smile lies a secret world. Because Christian doesn't just work with numbers, he works with killers. He is the accountant, the man who cleans the books for the world's dirtiest crimes. When their money needs to disappear, Christian makes it vanish perfectly, silently, without a trace. But no one becomes like him without a story. And his story begins long ago in pain. As a boy, Christian was different. He struggled to connect, to understand emotions, to feel what others felt. Doctors called it autism. His father, a hardened military man, called it weakness. And weakness he could not allow. So instead of comfort, the boy was given combat. Instead of therapy, he was taught survival. He and his brother Braxton were trained to fight, to endure, to never be victims. Every strike, every bruise, every tear became part of his education. And in time, the lessons stuck. Christian grew into a man of logic and precision, a machine of discipline, built to survive a chaotic world. But even machines can bleed. As an adult, Christian lived two lives. By day, a quiet accountant for small businesses. By night, a mathematical ghost for the underworld. His brilliance with numbers was unmatched. He could find a single missing dollar in a billion-dollar mess. He could trace embezzlement through 10 countries and 100 shell companies, like following blood through veins. But his secret life had drawn attention. The U.S. Treasury Department, led by Agent Ray King, had begun to hunt him down. And so, Christian needed a cover. He took on a new legal job, auditing a robotics company called Living Robotics. It seemed simple, until he met Dana Cummings, a young accountant who stumbled upon something strange in the books. At first, it was just numbers, small errors, missing digits. But soon it became clear the company was bleeding money. Someone inside was stealing millions. And the deeper Christian looked, the more dangerous it became. When the first murder happened, he knew he wasn't just doing an audit anymore. He was in a war. The hunters had become the hunted. And for the first time, Dana was dragged into his shadowed world, a world of hitmen, betrayals, and numbers written in blood. To survive, Christian unleashed what his father had built. A lifetime of violence, discipline, and control. He moved like math itself, every step calculated, every shot precise. A human equation of chaos and calm. As bullets flew and secrets unraveled, Agent Medina, a young determined analyst, grew closer to unmasking him. She uncovered a file sealed deep within military archives. Christian Wolff, child prodigy, savant, and survivor. A man who once worked for covert military programs, but disappeared after a classified incident. He wasn't just another criminal. He was a ghost of the government itself. Meanwhile, the trail of blood led to an unexpected enemy. The assassin behind it all, Braxton, his own brother. Two paths born from one tragedy, now colliding again. Their reunion was not filled with hugs, but with fists, guns, and 20 years of pain. Between blows, they remembered. A childhood stripped of warmth. A father who taught strength, but never love. In that brutal dance, they saw the truth. They were both broken by the same hands. When the fight ended, so did the hatred. The brothers stood, bloodied but whole, for the first time understanding each other not as enemies, but as reflections. Afterward, Christian returned to finish what he'd started. He exposed the corruption at Living Robotics, saving Dana's life and bringing justice the only way he knew how, not through law, but through logic. He left Dana a gift, a priceless painting, a gesture of gratitude and perhaps affection. His way of saying goodbye without ever saying a word. To the world, Christian vanished once more, a whisper, a shadow, a man between sin and salvation. Some say he disappeared into another name, another town. Others believe he still walks among us, balancing the books of justice, one equation at a time. Because for Christian Wolff, numbers never lie, but people do. And somewhere between good and evil, he found his peace in precision. The Accountant isn't just a story about crime or numbers. It's about isolation, intelligence, and redemption. It's about how a man who can't feel learns to understand meaning, and how in a world of chaos, sometimes the only way to find balance is to become it. Christian Wolff, a man of logic, a man of violence, a man who keeps the world's books clean, and his own soul somewhere in between. He counts for the wicked but fights for the weak. He lives in the shadows where silence can speak. And though his path may never be straight, his purpose is precise. For even the coldest heart can still do what's right.